to Nagaraj Annaiah's Property Playbook Strategies for Smart Living, hosted by Nagaraj Annaiah, a distinguished realtor and mortgage consultant. This show is your ultimate guide to mastering the art of real estate. Dive into the world of immigration, mortgage solutions, home remodeling, insurance, real estate planning, and the ancient wisdom of Vastu. Elevate your living and make informed decisions with the insights and strategies shared by Nagaraj Annaiah. Stay tuned for an enlightening experience.
Hello, Bay Area. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining in today. You are listening to Real Estate Playbook by Nagaraj Annaiah. Big shout out and thank you to all the Bay Area listeners to making my last two episodes such a great success. In the YouTube alone, more than 1,000 views were recorded for the last two Real Estate Playbook sessions. Thank you so much for making show such a great, lovely thing. Today we are joined by NT Bay Area Construction, and we are going to talk about a remodeling. Yesterday I was into a Fremont, one of the house there, and it was a fixer upper house, and it was listed for 1.2 million. Okay, it's a fixer upper listed for 1.2 million, but more than 4 or 5 people were standing in the line in the middle of the afternoon to look out for the fixer upper homes in a Fremont. You can know how much, especially for the fixer uppers, right? So much demand in the Bay Area. Today, we are joined by NT Bay Area Construction from Naresh, where we go and discuss about the remodeling. Why so much hype on this remodeling and what's going on in this Bay Area real estate. Today we are live, and if you have any questions, do please give us a call at 408 912 5038. Any questions on the Bay Area real estate or remodeling? If you want to do a remodeling, or you're looking for a fixer upper, or you're an investor, today we can discuss about that. Hello, Naresh. How are you doing today?
Hi Nagaraj, I'm good. How are you?
Really doing good, Naresh. Tell me about yourself. Like, how did you get into this construction and remodeling?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of my customers ask me the same, why you are in construction. The stereotype is all Indians are in IT. So,
Huh?
but I was into construction because my background is civil.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, cool. So, listeners, you're listening to Real Estate Playbook by Nagaraj Annaiah. If you have any questions on remodeling or a Bay Area real estate, do give us a call. We are live on 408 912 5038. Last two episodes, the first episode was on a mortgage, the second episode was on a immigration, and today is on the remodeling. So for a month, I want to cover on all the aspects of on the real estate, right? Like immigration, mortgage, remodeling, and other things. If you have any questions, do give us a call. The studio lines numbers are 408 912 5038. Naresh, the most important question a lot of people ask me, right? How much
Mhm.
does it cost for a remodeling? How do you decide how much does it cost?
No, it all depends. It's a tricky question. It's not that simple that you asked. It has a lot of variables because, you know, um, generally, it all depends what exactly you want to do in your kitchen remodel or bathroom remodel, what fixtures you want to add, how, I mean, if you want to reconfigure your bathroom or kitchen, if you want to add some additional features, it all depends. It all depends. Right now, if you touch any bathroom or any kitchen, correct, so you have to update to present code of NEC meaning National Electrical Code. You have to update according to that one. And then
I think I'll stop you there. I think the one very important thing you told me, right? Like
Mhm.
updating to the current electrical standard. I think that is very, very important, I tell you, because I was reading one of the article recently where old house burnt out due to old electrical lines. We have one caller. Let's take it. Hello, welcome to the real estate playbook. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. May I know your name?
Vicky.
Hi, Vicky. Thanks for calling in. Do you have any questions for us today, Vicky?
Yes, I do. General question, what are some of the projections given the rate of interest for next 12 to 24 months in the real estate market?
Okay. See, right now, Biden government recently said, polls said like they're expecting to reduce the rate by one more percentage. Okay. But when it's a kind of a challenge, okay, right now, the rates are fluctuating around a 6.25 APR, and some of the lenders, even with a 0.5% discount, I can see that even they're going in with a 5.75. That is arm rates. Okay. That's a 7-year arm rates or a 10-year arm rates, right? That's a 30-year loan program, but 7 or 10-year. It again depends on the lenders to lender. Since already their poll has said like there will be no more rate hikes, we can see that in the market, housing market side, there's a lot of positive things we can notice in. I think the again depends on how many buyers out there and how many mortgage transactions happens. Depending on that, rates can start going on down. Because if it's too much busy on the mortgage, rates might not fluctuate too early for us. Even a 1% cut down in 1 year, right? Maybe we might land closer to 5 or below 5% also. It's again depends on the elections are also nearby. Depending on that, it might play around. Vicky.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for calling in. You can give us a call back if you have any other questions also. Today, we are discussing about the remodeling. Okay. Remodeling is very, very important, right? Like, especially nowadays, all the homes, I was discussing last episode also, all the homes, Naresh, like we in the Bay Area, right? We end up seeing around 1940s, 1960s homes. Okay. Sometimes I was telling them, even my house is a 1900, which I'm sitting right now.
Okay.
But a lot of think it's too bad, kind of too much hassle to buy the older construction homes, right? That is where I was asking you I think we have one more caller. Let's take it up. Hello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
This is Jay.
Jai.
I'm from Dublin. So I had a question about ADU.
Okay.
So I was wondering, like, what are generally the requirements in terms of ADU? Let's say I have like 7,500 square foot lot size and 1,400 square foot, like 1,420 square foot is build area. So if I want to construct ADU, what are the requirements, and like high level, what would be the budget and the timelines? Thanks.
Naresh, this is for you. You can take it up.
Yes. So may I know whom I'm talking to?
Jay is calling us.
Jay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Jay. So this is Naresh. I'm from NT Bay Area Construction. So I understand your question. So you want to do an ADU, right? So for ADU, generally what we have to do is we need to see the setback. Setback meaning from the exterior of the fence, so to the exterior wall. So how much distance you have to leave, that's called setback. Okay. So when you are building an ADU, they will tell you, the city will know what is the setback that you need to leave in the side, in the existing home to your current home, whatever the future home that you're building in, what is the distance. So you need to make sure the setback requirement, and then you can figure out by that how much exact square footage you can build. The simple way is just call the city of Dublin and then ask them what is the setback for me for the back, and then the rear side, and then the sides. So we need to leave that much area and then calculate the rest of the area, so you can build an ADU in that one. And then the another question that you asked is how much it will cost. It won't be that straightforward because multiple factors involves with it. Because how the foundation will be, what kind of foundation will be, what kind of wall structure that we need to build. Since most common San Ramon, Dublin areas, they have post-tension slabs. Post-tension slabs are very tricky, and then it's more expensive. So if your house falls under that category or not, we need to check. So basically, we have to figure out all these categories.
Naresh,
Yes.
a lot of listeners might be not knowing the foundation types, right? We can touch up on that foundation types also after this, but you can go ahead and complete this. But let's talk about the foundation types also.
Yes. So basically, in order to get an ADU, so we need to check with the city what is their setback requirements. Depending
Okay.
upon the setback rule, we know how much square footage we can build. And then the cost wise, it is not straightforward. We can do some initial consultation from our end.
No,
And
but
then,
typically, what's the minimum budget if somebody wants to look for an ADU, right? Like, let's assume he wants to do a 300 square footage, or minimum is a 300, right, or a 200 square footage, right? What might be the general guidelines, right? Keeping it is it, does it cost you 100K, or like it
No,
costs you? How does it go in general?
generally,
So that it is not the it's again depends on the projects to project. But as somebody is looking for a build an ADU, what's a minimum they need to be looking in? I know the max is always like how you shop for your purses, right? It can the expensive purses can go for $100 to even go to a 10K, 1 million also,
yeah.
right?
No, normally the price is starting from 500 per square foot,
Okay.
and above. So, and then I'll say this price is not that fixed. It can vary.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
depends on the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jay, did I answer your question?
Do you have anything follow up, Jay?
Yeah, I think so. And what would be the approximately timeline? Like, let's say we have to build like, let's say 500 square foot or 300, 400 square foot, like in that range.
Okay.
What would be the timeline?
Timeline is generally architectural, structural from our side. Basically, ours is a design and build construction company. So we do like 1 to 2 months for doing architectural, structural calculations, Title 24, and all these drawings that we do prepare in 1 to 2 months, and then we submit to the city. So after that, it depends on the city how busy they are. Sometimes they could, give us the permit in 2 months, 3 months, sometimes 6 months. So altogether, you can keep like 4 to 7 months, getting right from the starting to getting the permit. Once you get the permit, generally, addition projects will take 6 months plus minus.
So 6 months from the after the getting the permits.
Yes. Yeah. Construction time is only 6 months plus, plus minus construction time. Okay.
Right.
And then the permits time and then the plans thing, it could be like 4 to 6 months. So total altogether, if you count it, it's gonna be like a year project. If you think of doing any ADU, so from now, 1 year, put it that way.
Yeah, makes sense. Yep. Thank you so much for detailed answer.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. So, Naresh, to touch upon this ADUs, right? Recently, California passed in a law, so a lot of listeners might doesn't know, like where you can convert your ADUs as in a condos, and you can sell that ADUs also, right? Like it will be applying the community guidelines, basic condo guidelines for that. So if you have a two ADUs in the lot, you can sell each ADU separately. Okay, so that's a good way to look for, like, especially if you're looking for an ADUs, like for example, you have a 10,000 square footage and it is like a bigger lot. And if you want to have a two ADUs, can we have a two ADUs, Naresh?
Yeah, it all depends on the city. At the end of the day, each and every city acts different. They have some different jurisdictions. They have some different set of rules. So I would say we need to check with the city.
I think listeners, you're listening to Bay Area Real Estate Playbook from Nagaraj Annaiah, Realtor. If you have any questions on the remodeling and real estate, do give us a call. We are live. The studio lines are 408-912-5038. And today I'm having a discussion with an NT Bay Area, Naresh, discussing about the remodeling aspects in the Bay Area. Right. So, Naresh, when we are discussing in, right, like you're mentioning about the foundation types, right? A lot
Yes.
of people doesn't know what's the foundation types. Can we touch upon that foundation types, right? Like how does it play a role in the house?
Yes. So generally, there are 2 to 3 foundation types. The one is slab foundation.
Mhm.
Okay. So in order to be having a slab foundation, the land need to be flat. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that way you can put the slab foundation and then you can build the walls on top and then make your house. The second thing is raised foundation. Raised foundation meaning where you have a crawl space.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I will also ask me later, which one is better. Okay, I
Mhm.
will also answer that question.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the third thing is some houses is not on flat land. It has a big slope.
I think
Slope
let's ask the question for the listeners. Listeners, we have a question on the floor. Which foundation type is better? It's a crawl space
or
or
concrete slab.
slab foundation? What do you think about? Give us a call. We don't have any gifts, but we can do give us a call. Tell us like slab foundation is better or a crawl uh, space is better for the houses.
And why? Why is it better?
No need of why you are there an expert to talk about it.
Okay.
But let's talk about what the listeners think about it, right? Yeah. Studio number is 408-912-5038. Do give us a call. Go ahead, Naresh.
Okay. And then the third type is sometimes, like I said, we don't have like a flat land. Most of the areas, they have like a slope land. So we might need to do some slab foundations, some pier walls, and then we need to build that way. So it goes on half and half. So majority of the constructions are built in the California are in that way.
So all the three things, right? Like
Yeah.
slab foundation, pier foundation, and the third one was the
Raised
crawl
foundation.
space, right?
Yeah.
All these foundation types are decided based on the land, or how do you decide which foundation to go for it? Like the price, does the price varies from each three things?
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. So basically, it is one, the price.
Mhm.
Second thing is also depending upon the area. So sometimes the city impose, the city impose
Okay.
to have.
Basically, zoning guide, does it come with
Yes.
the zoning guidelines, or like the city have, when you decide on what to build, the city comes up with it, right? How does it go for it?
So each and every city is different. So sometimes city comes up and says that no, you have to have a crawl space thing. You sometimes they are more liberal. They'll say like, okay, you can do whatever you want.
Okay. I think it's basically what I think it's based on where it is, like seismic zones, and
Yes, that is correct.
based on that, it will decide. We have a one caller. Let's take it up. Welcome to the Real Estate Playbook.
Hello?
Yeah,
Nagaraj?
hi. Welcome to the Real Estate Playbook.
Well, so there was a question that you just asked on the floor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Type of foundation is better, slab versus the raised one with crawl space?
Yeah, which one do you think is better?
Well, I would say crawl space is better for the long run. For example, if there is a plumbing problem, it's easier to get under the crawl space, or if you want to put in new electrical lines, it would be easier. In slab, I find it extremely difficult to do the plumbing or getting an electrical cable.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. I think we'll let know our answers at the end of the show. Do keep listening. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we'll let know our answer at the end of the show. But see, I think as we're discussing on the types of foundation based on the seismic, the load, and one more important question I keep on my buyers would be asking, right? How do you decide that the house can already existing house when they buy in, right? How do you decide like we can add a 300-400 square footage? Does the buyer needs to verify before buying the house the load? Does it take it to add extra square footage, or later once we buy the house, we can figure out to add more load bearing for adding more square footage on maybe, let's assume it's in a first floor house, right? Like, but you want to have a second floor house, 400 square footage or a 500 square footage, right? So how do you go upon it?
So basically, for that one, right? So every city, if you go to the city's website, they have some ADU portion. So where you scroll in and then check about the setback requirement.
No,
And
it's
then,
not about ADU. I'm talking about the existing home. If you want to have a 300 square footage or a 400 square
add
foot.
more addition.
Yeah,
That is called
addition.
addition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Means like, how do you decide the foundation type? Like, for example, already
Okay, got it.
existing foundation, does it support it,
Understood.
or like how do you decide upon it?
Understand. So that's a really good question.
Uh-huh.
So generally, when you are adding a square footage, right?
Correct.
So on only single level, you want to add an additional 300 square foot. Okay. So what happens?
I think let's give out the number because with just 5 minutes left on the show, the time runs so fast on the show. Do give us a call. We are live and we're discussing about the real estate, Bay Area real estate. And remodeling. It's all craze going on the remodeling. Anybody takes their house and what they want to do a remodeling, right? There are so many things to think about on the remodeling, right? Like if you guys have any questions on the real estate or a remodeling, do give us a call. The studio line number is 408-912-5038. 408-912-5038. Please go ahead, Naresh.
Okay. So if the existing house have a crawl space, then it is better we do have a crawl space in the addition that we're building.
Okay.
The existing house is in the concrete slab, so then the new addition area that we're building, right, that will be in the concrete slab as well.
Okay.
So, and then if you're adding a second story on top of your existing house, right, so then what happens is the engineer will come into picture. The structural engineer will come into picture. What he will do, he will come when we are doing that sort of additions, right? So our structural engineer go to the job site, review all the existing structure, and then also see what is the existing foundation dimensions, what is the existing house dimensions. He will make a note of everything, and then he does his structural calculations. Basically, on this structural calculations, based on his structural calculation results, if it needs to be adding more concrete, more foundation, then we add. If it doesn't require, then we don't add. But mostly, if it is an older homes, we might have to have a concrete foundation. That's what my experience says. But
again, it depends on the house to house, how well
yes,
the older foundation will be supporting and everything, right?
yes.
Now the time for our answers. Which one do you think? What do you think? Like, or what's as an expert, crawl space is better or a slab is better?
The previous caller who told us the answer, he's absolutely right.
Correct.
Okay. So having the crawl space access is much more easy for plumbing, electrical, mechanical, any sort of those trades. It's very easy. You go underneath, you see those plumbing, electrical, and then mechanical lines. If you have any problem, you fix it. That's
I
it.
recently worked on one of my clients' project. I remember it was a slab foundation to add in a plumbing, right? Like I think you broke down complete foundation slab and then you added the plumbing, right? It was so tough, like especially the tools are so expensive, the costs add up. In case of crawl space, you just go and fix it up, add more extensions. It's true. I think the crawl spaces are lot better. When a lot of people think crawl spaces are not cool, but crawl spaces are.
But I tell you one thing. When you're doing construction for the first time, right? Raised floors, crawl space access, having a crawl space access is little expensive.
Correct.
Okay. And then the concrete slab is cheaper. So people think that, okay, right now I don't want to spend that much. Let's go by concrete slab. If you do that way, right? So initially you save money, but over a period of time, the maintenance will be much more difficult.
So you say the slab foundation is cheaper than the crawl space?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Initially. But later on, that will add up. If they have any problem, if you have any leaks.
I totally understand. Like recently, as I told you, right, it was so tough for you, like so many, the cost of the project also, because with the regular crawl space, to any remodeling might cost you 15,000, but if it is in a slab foundation, it might double up because all the tools for to break up the foundation and everything. Thank you so much, Naresh, for joining in today, and all the listeners. All these episodes, right, will be uploading onto my YouTube channel, Nagaraj Annaiah's YouTube channel, and you can go and watch all these recordings of today. So if you want to contact Naresh after this show, you can directly reach out to him on his mobile. Naresh, can you give out your number?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, listeners. And then thank you so much, Nagaraj Annaiah. And thank you so much for 92.3 FM for having me here. And then my name is Naresh. My company name is NT Bay Area Construction. Our phone number is 510-324-6588. Any questions, anything, just give us a call. We can help you.
Yeah, I think to reach out to me on the real estate things, right, you can reach out to me directly on my 858-880-4577. Or the best thing to remember is nagrajhomes.com. Go for nagrajhomes.com, click on the WhatsApp icon there. You can directly reach out to me and you can talk to me. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you for